but it was, as I understand it, the F2 was called off, the sprint race. Which is interesting. But it is a lot drier now. There's a period where there's not going to be any more rain, apparently. So we'll see how true that ends up being. We will see. I am expecting some sort of red flag at some point. There is there was a red flag in FP3. Lance Stroll put it in the wall. Apparently, Aston Martin. I've told their drivers to be more careful because they're a bit on budget. So we know Max is going to have a 10-place grid penalty from wherever he qualifies. So it's going to be kind of interesting. I'm not sure in the rain or these wet weather conditions who is going to end up on front. The thing is, technically, Max can qualify first, but he can't get pole position because obviously his penalty. So he it's not going to be Max, even though technically he still can, be the quickest car. So, I mean, my money is on. I'm not a betting man, but if I was a betting man, I would say Lando. But we'll see. Affy, hello, good afternoon. If I was a betting man, I'd probably put it on Lando, but anything can happen. Anything can happen. So they reckon it's still very wet, but the less standing water, so it will still be inters. So I think it'll be tricky, and I don't know if we'll get to dry tires or not. Risk of rain for the qualifying session is 80%. So it looks like they do believe there is going to be a chance of rain during the session. So it could offer up some huge surprises because, don't get your lap at the right time, make a small mistake, and then the rain comes. You could be ruined. Hulk top 3. Listen, it's not a terrible guess. He's been having very, very good qualifyings. So I'd be surprised, but also not surprised in the sense that I do rate him quite highly, and he's been having great results. But at the same time, it would be like, bloody hell. They're all queued. 2 McLarens, 2 Hasses already queued, ready to go. Want to get out there on those inters and hoon around. If there's rain coming, you want to be out there getting laps in. That would surprise me if Bottas kept his seat. Karen, thank you for the 55 months. It is very moist. I tell you why it would surprise me, because they're getting Nico Hülkenberg. He's going to Sauber/Audi, so they've already got a driver with plenty of experience. So that would be Bottas and Hülkenberg. I don't think that's the one, is it? I really like Valtteri and his videos and stuff. I really, really like him. I think he's a great character to have around. I actually think he's loosened up so much since he's left Mercedes. But I think I would have... Well, obviously Hülkenberg, but I don't think I'd keep Bottas. I don't think so. I would be surprised, Affy, if they kept Bottas. I'm not saying what you're saying is wrong, by the way. I'm saying that it would be one of those things that would be like, really? But it's quite possible. There's huge rumours floating around as well that Alpine, for 2026, are now looking at abandoning their engine program, and they're looking at taking Mercedes engines instead. How terrible would that be? That's a manufacturer. That's Renault going, yeah, we're spending so much money on this engine and it's not good, because their engine currently, they believe, is underpowered. So imagine a manufacturer taking another engine from a different company. It's basically Renault going, yeah, we're running Formula One, showing off our Renault brand, but we can't make a good enough engine. I know that people aren't looking at Formula One when they're buying road cars necessarily, but at the same time, it's a bit like, oof, you know? I don't see the benefit of Alpine being in Formula One when they can't even... They're a manufacturer and they can't even provide their own engine, you know? Imagine Mercedes or Ferrari being in Formula One but using another manufacturer's engine. Well, that feels like an embarrassment to the brand. It's different with McLaren because they're not an engine manufacturer. In fact, I think, I could be wrong, I'm sure they I imagine they've developed engines for their road cars, right? I know they used to use a lot of Mercedes and Aston Martin engines in their McLaren road cars. I don't know if McLaren have actually designed their own engines in-house for any of their sports cars. I'm sure someone could tell me if that is true or not. I don't know. Afternoon, Tilbo. But I know Aston Martins used to use a lot of Mercedes-powered engines, Aston Martin engines. So I don't know 1,000% that they haven't made their own engines. But yeah, Alpine is a bit of an embarrassment. You're right. But that would be more of an embarrassment, wouldn't it? Basically admitting that the engine program is finito, and you're having to take an engine from someone else. I mean, yeah. All right, Tilbo. So, session has started. They're out there now, trundling round. They reckon rain in a couple of minutes, so you'll want to get laps in. The Mercedes were the last two out of the pits, so they're going to want to crack on. Well, yeah, it's true, Current, yeah. So Mercedes were very late getting out of the garage, and everyone else is being told that there's going to be rain in 2 minutes. Oh, it's only McLaren, okay. So maybe that's just a mistake from McLaren then. Alonso with a purple middle sector. A purple first sector, sorry. What's this sponsor on the front of the side pod of the McLarens? It says love, but there's a logo in the O, and I'm not quite sure what it is. Hamilton saying no grip. But, oh, by the way, Mercedes have taken off all their upgrades or updates. They were struggling to make them work, so they've decided because there was rain coming, they'll take them off so that they've got a baseline, and they'll look at the data after this weekend. So both Mercedes cars are back to the old spec floor and diffuser. There you go, Hulkenberg, a little bit quicker than Norris. Not messing about. Ooh, Piastri. Lightning quick. The thing is, these first few laps aren't really representative because the track's going to keep getting quicker and quicker as it clears and the water clears. So they're going to keep getting quicker until the rain comes. Yeah, Piastri is having a good time now, isn't he? I very much respect how although I gave him a bit of shit during the race, I respect how Lando's dealt with this after the fact. He was apologetic, saying, you know, that this whole incident overshadowed. He actually said I should have just moved out of the way straight away. I'm actually very impressed with his maturity after the fact. I really am. I think he's handled it really well afterwards. And be like, yeah, do you know what? It kind of overshadowed that 1-2 and Piastri's win, and I should have just moved over. And I kind of appreciate that. Charles Leclerc, P3, but I mean, these times, you know. Goes P3 for Lewis, but I mean, still a second and a half off Verstappen's time. Having said that, I think that was Verstappen's second lap. Yeah, I agree, Tilbo. I think the way he handled it after the fact, I thought was very mature. He had time to reflect, and he said, "Yeah, do you know what? I should have moved out of the way straight away." He said, he actually said, "No, I didn't like the way that whole incident overshadowed Oscar's win," and he said, "I'm not proud of that." And I thought he was very, very mature in the way he handled it afterwards. And so, yeah, I was impressed with the way that Norris spoke about the incident after the fact. And you know what? They did an interview with Zach Brown, and that's essentially what he said. He said they might have stopped them from racing at some point, but they wouldn't have initially. So if Lando would have let him through straight away, he would have had a chance then for 10 laps to get back past him. And he could have basically been the team player and potentially won the race. They wouldn't have said, listen, hold station straight away. And I think he probably realizes that. And I will say this: we're in a situation where we're able to sit here and listen to all these team radios and this situation unfold from the comfort of our sofas, and we have a different perspective. They're driving the cars, adrenaline, emotion, and sometimes they leave that situation and they come back out and go, "Yeah, okay, I was wrong," or "I can see this differently now," or whatever it might be. And so I think it takes a mature person to, after the fact, just reflect and go, actually, do you know what? yeah, I've looked at this situation now, and maybe I wasn't. Maybe I should have handled this differently. And so I think that was very good by Lando. Well, no, Max will not back down from his comments, will he? He basically just he went the other way with it. He's basically like, if people don't like, he literally said, if people don't like it, after the weekend, he said, if people don't like it, they can fuck off. And during Spa, he said, if people don't like it, they can just not listen to the radio. That's what that. And the Christian Horner was trying to be very political when he was talking about it. He's like, yeah. Basically, Max it just doesn't give a fuck. He's like, nah, I'm gonna speak the way I'm gonna speak, and I don't care, and that's that. And he wasn't changing his opinion on it. So yeah, listen, he was a bit of a prick on the radio, wasn't he? Let's be honest. So yeah. Daniel Ricciardo up to second. Hello. Well, yeah, like they're not going to. Yeah, they're not going to be saying anything like that to him, are they? Yeah. Well, yeah, I agree. The thing is, I think the way Max was talking on the radio was too far. And it's when you say, oh no, that's just the relationship we have. Okay. But I think when you were listening to them, I even think Gianpiero Lambiasi had enough. I think he'd had enough. I think he was like, yeah, okay, this is getting a bit much now, mate. Oof. Sainz struggling down into no-name corner. Plenty of grip through Puon, though. Yeah, Stroll. I mean, the impact Stroll had wasn't huge. I don't know if you saw FP3. It did obviously break the whole front left suspension, front wing. But it wasn't a huge impact. Have they changed it to an old spec then? Because I haven't seen anything about a penalty for Stroll, so they must have changed it to an old spec engine, I guess. Decent lap for Sainz. Verstappen, lightning quick, 54.9. Hamilton goes P3. Full 7/10 off, tenths off Verstappen's lap there. As Russell pits. So I assume Russell's going to put a fresh set of inters on. I'm not sure Hamilton will have much time to... He's just finished the lap. I'm not sure he'll have much time to get back around. Let's see. Hi, Chud. How you doing? Good afternoon. Stroll P7. I tell you what, Gasly in that Alpine, I know we've called the Alpine a boat a few times, but he's putting some really good laps there. Again, just put himself in P3. Ocon put himself in P5. Like, it's solid. It's solid. Good lap for Albon, P8. Splits the Ferraris. Yeah, Norris, not on a stellar lap, but it'll be enough. P5. I'm having an okay weekend, thank you. I'm having an okay time. Yeah. Hamilton is in the pit. Hamilton is in the pits, and I don't think he's going to get back out. So he better hope these lap times don't improve massively, or he's going to be fucked. Oh no, he has come out on an outlap. He has come out on an outlap now. Russell needs this lap, by the way, because he's left it to his last lap because he is currently in the drop zone. Verstappen incident and Zhou Guanyu impeding. So Russell is half a second up, well, 0.4 up on the time he needs to get out. Under norm, without any mistakes, he'll be absolutely fine. He'll have the pace. It's all neat and tidy from George at the minute. Yeah, this is a good lap from Russell. A good lap from Russell. It says he's only 0.2 down on Verstappen's time, so this is a really good lap. He is on fresh inters. But it all looks neat and tidy and smooth. Oh, there's lots of traffic here, though. And fucking Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen just went past Hamilton as Hamilton was letting cars build a gap ahead of him into the final chicane. So Hamilton is now right behind Max Verstappen. Oh yeah, Zhou Guanyu definitely impeded Verstappen. There was a Sauber, a Williams, and then Hamilton, and Max just fucking sent it in there. He's a fucking moron. He had plenty of time to get to the line. Gasly goes P2. Oof. Ocon goes P6. Bottas goes up to P8. No, I think this lap will be good enough for Checo. Yeah, P4 for Checo. Ricciardo goes P8. Good lap from him. Norris goes P11. Sainz goes P5. Sonoda is going to finish P18. Zhou Guanyu is going to finish last. So, yeah, Hamilton had really bad traffic going into the final chicane. I actually think he would have been... Well, I think the reason he let George Russell through is because he had traffic ahead of him anyway. Both Magnussen and Hulkenberg out in Q1 though, guys. Yeah, I think you were a little bit off, Afi. I mean, I do think you said top 3. And that's not top 3. So. Logan's out. I'm not shocked. Those Alpines in these conditions are really quick. I mean, it's pretty wild, really. You know, they could be potato slow normally, but then a bit of rain, and then all of a sudden they're actually quick. I wonder, when are they doing the F2 sprint race then? Because they delayed the sprint race. Yeah, well, it wasn't great from Yuki, but he is going to be starting at the back anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Because he's got those engine penalties. A 60-place engine penalty, actually. Not that it matters. But yeah, it wasn't great. Ricciardo had a really good session though. And then, as you're saying, Perez ultimately there finished only a couple of tenths off Verstappen. So exactly what you would expect. Or not expect. Exactly what you would want, sorry. So yes. So, who's getting pole position, guys? I think we can rule out a few people. I think we can rule out the Mercedes, and I think we can rule out the Ferraris. I think it's likely right now to be Verstappen, Piastri, or fucking Gasly. to be honest. Which is, that's pretty wild. Don't know where this pace from Gasly's come from, but yeah. Yeah, Max. I think Sargent complaining because he was impeded by Max, but Max was on a lap, and so was he, and Max was quicker, and he's, Logan's gone wide, although a lot of drivers do use that wide line. So yes, he's ran wide, but a lot of drivers use that wide line. But Max is just quicker and on the inside because Logan's gone wide. I mean, it is what it is. There's not blocking, is it? So, I mean, I only saw the end of it, so I didn't see if he locked up. I only saw the end of the replay. At the end of the day, if he's locked up, then it's his own fault, isn't it? It's not... I mean, there's no... Yeah, I mean, he locked up a little bit, didn't he? He locked up a little bit. I actually don't even think he lost that much time. And he'd have been getting a tow. So I actually don't think it was that big of a deal anyway. Oh, it's wet. Drube, yeah, it's wet. It's Inter's wet, though. It's not wet tires wet. Oh, Max didn't use a new set of... I tell you what, the Red Bull is lightning quick around here this weekend. Honestly, I think the Red Bull is so quick. Yes, Verstappen is going to have a 10th-place grid penalty, but oof, I still think they're going to be the quickest car. Right. We're on board with George Russell at the minute. He's got a mistake or two in him, hasn't he? Yeah, they are always. It's true, they are always very good. That's why they always take their engine penalty. I was saying this in my video. Last year, they took the gearbox penalty. The year before, they took the engine penalty, both at Spa. Because it's the best track to take it on because you can overtake, and they're always quick around here. I don't know why Brundle's talking about bloody... It's nowhere near slick tyres yet. I don't think. Although I do think this, the darkness of the tarmac is a little bit deceiving because it can look dark because it's wet, but also it's been relayed in parts, which is why it looks darker. So it is kind of deceiving as to how wet the track actually is. I feel like there isn't a dry line across the whole track yet, though. What you have to remember about Spa is the track is so long that it can be very different in different sectors. But the middle sector looks pretty dry. I wouldn't want to go up Radion Rouge with slick tires right now, though. Good noon, Daz. Russell goes third behind a Williams and an Alpine. Mercedes don't look that quick in these conditions. I mean, it does always seem to be wet when we come to Spa, doesn't it? Norris 54-4. I swear it's so often wet. Charles Leclerc is P7. Hamilton goes P5. Yeah, Alpine in these wet conditions, honestly, right up there. So is Danny Rick as well. I tell you what, in these changeable conditions we've had so far this season, in a couple of the sessions, Danny Ricciardo's been right up there. Danny Rick's been right up there. And Mercedes look like they're behind Alpine, Albon, and Ricciardo. As Verstappen just comes through with, you know, absurd times because he's an absolute lad. Yeah, oh, just by 0.6 of a second. No big deal. You see, after those first, you know, Hamilton's in 9th and Russell's in 11th. But it was pretty close between all of them, but... I mean, that was a nothing slide from Verstappen when he from in the car. It looked worse from the offboard, but... Imagine if they did Formula 1 and the 24 Hours of Spa on the same weekend. Oof, imagine that. They just did the Formula 1 race a little bit earlier in the afternoon and then started the 24 Hours of Spa, like, you know, a little bit later. Imagine the publicity that would get. That would be banging, wouldn't it? Obviously, they'd never do it, but... And because of the setup of the garages and whatnot, they wouldn't... I don't think it would be feasible to do it either way, by the way, but I'm just saying it would be... It'd be madness. What do you think of this Alpine livery? I mean, I'll be honest, it looked better in the renders. I think on track it looks quite dark and quite black because it's mostly carbon. I don't dislike it. I think the colours red and black work better than the pink and blue, but it's still a whole lot of carbon, isn't it? They've basically just replaced the pink and blue with the red of Deadpool. You know. Perez says it's raining harder now. Gasly doesn't improve. It's a Deadpool versus Wolverine livery, does, to promote the film. Because Ryan Reynolds was one of the people involved in purchasing a stake of the team some time ago. It does look a little bit wetter. Yeah, I think George Russell and Charles Leclerc are going to be hoping it isn't, because they're in the bottom. But Russell's just gone purple in the first sector, so oh, sideways. That was a slide, yeah. Hamilton was doing started his lap after George though, so Hamilton, if George can improve, Russell's in a Hamilton's in a worse spot. I think he'll be all right with this lap. Yeah, it goes P4. Not a great lap from Hamilton, though. Charles Leclerc is on a better lap than Hamilton. He does go P5. Will it be enough? I honestly don't know. I'm not sure it will. Charles Leclerc goes P3, pushes Hamilton down. Sainz goes P4. You've got Alonso, Gasly, Bottas, and Stroll all on outlaps. Oh, he's in the gravel. Oh, he put his tyre on the gravel. He's definitely lost time there. Daniel Ricciardo's improving. Let's see what this lap is for Oscar. Yeah, he goes second on that lap. So it's a really, really good final sector from Oscar. Wild, that final sector, wasn't it? It was lightning quick. Danny Rick crosses and goes P6. He's so quick. Daniel Ricciardo pushes both Mercedes down into 8th and 9th. You would expect Perez to improve, Alonso to improve. Mercedes are in trouble here. Mercedes are in trouble. Especially if it starts raining more. So Perez is up half a second on Ocon's time. So he didn't have a great first sector, but this will be enough for Perez to take him to sort of... It might even be enough to take him into P3, P4. Lance Stroll struggling a little bit. Yeah, P4 for Perez currently, 6/10 off. I expect Gasly to put in a good lap because he's been really quick, and Ocon's just done a purple first sector. Yeah, poor first sector from Hamilton as Stroll goes P15. With both Alpines going quick, I think Hamilton's in trouble here. And Russell might be in trouble as well. Ocon goes P4. Very, very good from him. That pushes Hamilton down. Gasly's going to have a good lap as well. Gasly goes P7. Russell's not on a terrible lap here. He's had a good middle sector. Hamilton's had a good middle sector. Purple middle sector. Russell goes P2. Hamilton is now heading to the final chicane. I think this lap will be more than good enough for Hamilton. He had a very, very good middle sector. Yeah, he goes P2, 54 flat. Alonso now is in P13. He goes P5. So Sainz is now in the drop zone. Gasly's out. Wow. Gasly. Danny Ricks in 13th. Gasly's in 11th. Sainz is currently... He needs this lap. Charles Leclerc puts it 5th. Sainz is currently in 12th. He needs this. And he gets it. He gets it. P4. Now, I'll say this. Both Ferraris and both Mercedes put in laps then under a lot of pressure. They put laps in a lot of pressure. Perez made it through by 3 thousandths. 3 thousandths from Albon. Woof. Both Mercedes and both Ferraris put laps in then under real pressure. Well, Perez is through, Bartos, so I mean, he hasn't been shit on by anybody. He's literally through, which is actually better than he's done in the past like 5 races. So I mean, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I mean, Perez needed that, though, because if he'd have been knocked out there, again, it wouldn't have been great for him, would it? The reason being is they want Perez to be as close to the front as possible because they know Max is going to take a 10-place grid penalty. They need or want a Red Bull up there. And I do believe Max will get there or thereabouts in the race anyway. But, you know, they want someone up there. AKA Sergio Perez. So they need him up there for the race. So at least he's going to start in the top 10. Which is, I know this sounds crazy, but considering his performances in the past 5 or 6 races, that's actually a real achievement for him. So, you know. P10 now is an achievement. So, yes. The DRS activation point as well. I didn't really talk about this. They've reduced it by... I can't remember by how many meters now. the DRS activation point has been reduced by, I think it's about 75 meters or something. So down the Kemmel Straight. Okay. Now, obviously that DRS point doesn't make any difference to qualifying, but it will make a difference in the race on Sunday. Max is putting pace in here, by the way, that no one else can match. Obviously, he's not going to get pole position. We know that, but he's putting in lap times, even in FP1, FP2, that no one else could match. I thought the McLarens in these conditions would be there, up there, and they're kind of there, but they can't match what Verstappen can do at the minute. So Perez apparently doesn't have any fresh set of inters. He's burnt through all 4 of them. Whereas Verstappen has 2 new sets. He only used 1 set in Q1 and Q2. Impressive. Yeah, I think Gasly will be pretty upset with that result because he looked really quick in those conditions and he was putting in really, really good times. I think he'll definitely be really frustrated that he hasn't gone through. Lando Norris is half Belgian. I didn't even know that. Hmm. Is it his mum? His dad's definitely British, isn't he? I can't remember his name. Adam Norris? Is it Adam Norris? I can't remember. It's funny, really, because it's such a completely different mindset coming out of the pits now when it's wet like this, because on the inters, they don't want to be taking it easy around the lap. They want to crack on and build temperature. They want to just be cracking on, building tyre temps. They're not worried about putting some energy into the tyres because they need to heat them up. Whereas, I don't know if there was a picture of the Formula 2 qualifying, and it looked like they'd just started the race. There was like 20 cars all behind each other, but it was qualifying. It's bonkers. So, we've got Verstappen, I think is most likely to get first. Well, not obviously, as we've said. But I think behind him, McLaren's both look really quick. It's just going to be, as it always is with the rain, it's just going to be down to who gets the lap at what point. The person that gets the lap in at the end of the session, when the track's at its best, I think that will ultimately make the difference. And it also depends if it rains anymore. Hmm. Looks pretty dry up Radiano Rouge. Actually doesn't look too bad through there now. There's definitely some spray still all the way down the Kemmel Straight. Russell a 10th up on Hamilton through the first sector. This helicopter shot's great. Yeah, it was a bit of a... Yeah, Piastri quick in the middle sector. 10th up on Hamilton's time, I think. 54 flat. Russell did a 54.2. Ocon purple in the first sector. Piastri goes P2, though. What about Ocon and Norris? Ocon, P4. Oh, he was actually a bit slower than I thought. He's very quick in the first sector. Lost a lot of time in the middle sector. Lando goes P4. What about Fernando? Oh, Fernando. P5 for Alonso. Sainz goes P5. Verstappen slamming the middle sector, as you would imagine. Yeah, 2.5. I mean, it's 2.5 tenths. Oh, that's Perez, not Verstappen. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Perez goes first. I was gonna say, I was expecting more. Yeah, there we go. 8 tenths on the 8 tenths from Verstappen. 6 tenths quicker than Perez. 8 tenths quicker than Hamilton. Yeah, that's Max Verstappen. Perez was on used tires apparently. I think everyone else was on new. Well, apart from, I don't think Ocon was. Ooh, Piastri's he's having fun dipping his rear wheels in the gravel, isn't he? Bloody loves it. I mean, again, Max just in a world of his own. In a world of his own. Oh, Hamilton's staying out. He's not going in. He's just going to do another lap on these tyres. So Ferrari used their old set first, their used set, and they're now going to pit and go on their fresh set of inters. So Perez also was on used tyres. He's come in for his new tyres. And Verstappen's going to pit for new tyres because he had 2 new sets. Not a great first sector from Lewis though. Yeah, Hamilton. I mean, he has improved on his time. I think this will put Hamilton. Well, you'll stay third. Yeah. Piastri didn't look like he was going any quicker though. No, Piastri stays fourth. What about Russell? Russell stays fifth. Will they get in a third lap, I wonder? Norris is definitely improving. He goes P4. Norris goes P4. Now, will they all get another lap in? I don't know if Hamilton, Norris, Piastri, Russell are going to do a cool down and then a third lap on those tyres. I mean, the 2 Ferraris and the 2 Red Bulls are now going out on new sets of inters. I mean, as it stands, Perez would get pole position. Because, yeah, Perez is going to get pole position. I don't see anyone getting near that time of Verstappen's. And I don't see any of these improving to beat Perez's time either. Right. Carlos Sainz starting his lap. Let's see what the Ferraris can do now then on this fresh set of inters. Be very interested to see what the pace is of the 2 Ferraris. (32.3) first sector for Sainz, which wasn't great. Charles Leclerc, however, was very much closer. Yeah, did you see though, Tilbo? It was actually all of the Red Bull cars. I think Ricciardo, Tsunoda, Perez, and Max all were caught speeding in practice. There has to have been something with with their device. Verstappen just casually going quicker than his own time. Science is he's butchered this lap, honestly. Sainz has butchered this lap. Leclerc is only half a second off, though. So Charles Leclerc could squeeze in there. Yeah, it's not a big fine, is it? Sainz stays 7th. What about Charles Leclerc in the final sector? He goes P2. So Perez needs to improve now. But Perez will be on his fresh set of tyres. He did that lap time on a used set. It was a great lap by Charles, that is. Verstappen stays P1. 6/10 quicker, though, than your next competitor's wild. In these conditions as well. Oh, Hamilton's pitted. So he's not going to improve. I thought Hamilton had a good first sector. He must have made a mistake. Perez is pitting. Perez is pitting. Russell's pitting. So Charles Leclerc is going to be on pole. What about Norris? Is Norris pitted? Yeah, Norris is pitted as well. Charles Leclerc will then be on pole. Every car 6/10 slower than Max Verstappen. It's a really good lap from Charles. When you consider where Carlos Sainz was, it's a cracking lap from Charles Leclerc. It really, really is. I think Max, I mean, based on his pace there, I think he'll have more than enough pace to get through those cars tomorrow, you know. Just depends how long it takes him to get toward the front. He's going to start P11, so... Yeah, I think he'll be at the front. He's so quick around here. The car's so quick around here. And it should tell you how quick the car is that Perez is in P3. Yes, he's still a trek behind Verstappen, but their car is insanely quick around this track. And then Verstappen makes the difference on top of that. So, yeah. Max can win. He can win tomorrow. He can. And dare I say, he might do. So, yeah, an interesting qualifying. Didn't end with any mad results, if I'm being honest. I thought maybe we'd see a McLaren up there or something, but Yeah. I'm looking forward to the race because at least for the first half, we're not going to see Max Verstappen at the front. So we'll see a couple of cars that are fairly even, and we'll see what happens. And then no doubt Max Verstappen will, work his way to the front. And then we'll see what happens, but I wouldn't rule out a Max Verstappen win. I wouldn't rule out a Max Verstappen win. Right. I will see you tomorrow. Thank you very much for joining me for qualifying. I enjoyed it. I will see you on the flip side. I'll be back live tomorrow for the race, 2 o'clock UK time. I will see you then. Have a lovely weekend if I don't speak to you. And if not, I will see you tomorrow for the race. Goodbye.